classification system. Biological classification system. Okay. So in biological classification, why the biological classification is required? Right. Biological classification is very much required for this study. Right. So we classify, even if you talk about the cars, we classify that very small car, we call them hatchback, a larger one, we call them sedan, more larger, we call them SUVs, and passenger van, we call them MUVs. Then it comes to small trucks, then larger trucks, right? So we have classified the different type of the vehicles, and on the basis of their classify, we put them tax on them, right? We have rules and regulation for different trucks. So that is for the study. This is a systemic arrangement. On the basis of that arrangement, you can do anything, right? So the same thing we did with the organism, right? So from the first chapter, we'll discuss after this one. First chapter is very pretty kind of the chapter. There is nothing, right? In the first chapter, that they have just mentioned that who are the living, how we say that particular thing is living, right? So very simple thing. If there is any organism or body, and inside body metabolic reactions are going on, then that particular organism is living. What are the metabolic reactions? Try to understand me. Can you tell me what is the difference between the biological reaction and metabolic reaction? Any one of you, both of you, Sidika and Martin. What is the difference between biological reaction and metabolic reaction? Who will tell me? Very simple question, but very deep conceptual question. Tell me, Martin. Sidika, what is the difference?
Biological involves general compounds, while metabolical involves carbohydrates, proteins, and
Okay, fine. What about you, Sidika? Any idea?
No, sir.
Look, suppose that I eat a bread right now, just simple bread, nothing else. Bread. I eat a bread. So that bread is made up of starch. That bread will go inside my stomach, and there are certain enzymes, right? So what those enzymes will do, like lipase, amylase. So there is enzyme amylase. Let's take one example. That amylase will break down that bread into glucose, because bread is made up of starch. So what will happen when I will eat that bread means I have eaten starch. That starch will be broken down into glucose in my stomach. That reaction is going inside my body, this living body. This is a metabolic reaction. Now, what is the biological reaction? When what you do, you have taken out amylase enzyme, or you have made the amylase enzyme chemically or artificially. You put that bread outside of the body, means in a glass, in a beaker. We put that bread in a beaker, and we put that enzyme on that bread, pour enzyme on that bread. Again, the reaction will take place, digestion will take place, right? But that will be the slower one, right? That outside of the human body, if this experiment is done, it will take 5 to 6 hours, even 7 hours. The same reaction will go 2.5 hours inside our body, right? So when a biological reaction goes on out of the body, it's a simple biological reaction. When this reaction goes inside living environment, when a biological reaction goes inside a living environment, this is called metabolic reaction. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is difference between. So if any organism is there and metabolic reactions are going on, that is a living. And there is no exception in this world, right? We will discuss after this class. First we will discuss what is the classification system. So look, there are different classification systems, and the most ancient classification system was given by a philosopher, right? The name, what was the name? Who given the first classification system? The first classification system was given by a philosopher. His name was Aristotle. That is important, right? So, and that is important to know. Right? So there was a philosopher. He was in a country named Greece, right? So his name was Aristotle. Aristotle. Aristotle given this concept in 350 BC. Can you imagine? 350 BC before the Christ means 350 year before the birth of the Jesus Christ, right? So on that time, it's very ancient, right? And what is why I am discussing the Aristotle over here? Is there any something special with Aristotle? He is also called father of or subject. He is the father of biology.
Marx.
Yeah, he's the father of biology, right? He's called father of biology because he is the person who started with the biology. According to him, he said there are two kind of the animal in this world, right? So this was the animal classification system, right? He said there are two type of animal in this world. Animal in this world. What are those animal? The first kind of animal, he divided into them into two groups, right? The first animal, they are with red blood. With red blood means those animal which have the red blood, their body, almost all the animals have the red blood. So those animals which have red blood, he kept them in a group and called it Inaima. What was the name of group? Inaima. He kept them in a group and the name of the group was Inaima first. And the second group without red blood. Those animal which do not have red blood. He kept them in a different group and called them Anaima. Second one, Anaima. So Inaima and Anaima. There are two group of the animals with the red blood and without the red blood. Right? So this was the first classification of the world. Right? So can you tell me the animals which have the blood other than red blood, which do not have red blood? Example. Red blood, we all have red blood. All mammals have red blood.
Some
Yes,
frogs,
Siddhika? Which one? Yes, Siddhika?
some frogs, specific
Frogs.
breeds of frogs.
Frog actually there are very less blood, but they have the red blood because RBCs look. There is a animal. His name is octopus. You must have seen octopus.
Ah, yes.
Octopus have blue blood. I am telling you example because these are the examples which are being asked. Why? Because our blood have hemoglobin. It is made up of iron, but octopus its blood is made up of copper. Right? So it have copper in blood. That's why its color is blue, right? And there are insect, cockroach and all that. You must have not seen the, you might have not seen the blood in the cockroach body. So what is that? They have either they have colorless, they have normally they have colorless blood. So that is also uh, non red blood, right? So he said that there are two type of the animal, like crab, that is also insecta, crab, colorless blood. So these are the animal which do not have red blood. So this was the first classification system of the world. Octopus you need to remember. Octopus you need to remember. Right. So put the first heading in your. Do you have notebook and notebook with a pen? Keep on making note. Should I dictate
Yes,
it or
sir.
not? Yes. That will be helpful for your school examination, right? So keep on writing. First classification. The first classification system of world. The first classification system of the world was given by Aristotle. The first classification system of the world was given by Aristotle. Full stop. He is also called, he is also called father of biology. He is also called father of biology. He is also called father of biology. Full stop. He divided animal, next point, he divided animal into two groups. Please copy this one. He divided animal into two groups. Now the copy this one, which is written in your screen. Copy and let me know. Then we will.
Done, sir.
Done. Okay, great, great. Now, what happened? Now come to the modern world. This was very important information for you. And okay, now the next one. Systematically, now when we come to the modern world, modern biology, then the first classification system was given by, that was the two kingdom classification. What is the two kingdom classification? Two kingdom classification system. In two kingdom classification system, the whole living organism of the world, they have been divided into two groups, right? So what have been divided? So this two kingdom classification system, it was two kingdom classification system. It was given by uh, a scientist. What is the name of that scientist? Can you tell me? He's a very famous scientist actually. Given by, it was given by Linnaeus. Linnaeus. Carl von Linnaeus. His full name was Linnaeus, but you just remember let me write it down if you want. His name was actually Carl von Linnaeus, and you know, he's we will study him in the binomial classification system, and then he kept his name, his own name in the biological name, and then he modified his name on the basis of biological nomenclature. He kept his own name Carolus Linnaeus, and he is the same person, right? So Carl von Linnaeus, he given the two kingdom class. He said that all the living of world, so the livings can be divided into two categories, right? So two category means two kingdom. He created two kingdom. So what was the first kingdom? He said that the first kingdom is Plantae. So this is the kingdom Plantae. In kingdom Plantae, he kept all the plant. Plantae, right? So in kingdom plant, he kept all the plant, and another one, he kept all the animal in same kingdom, kingdom Animalia, right? So kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. He divided the organism into two groups, right? Called von Linnaeus. Okay. So what was the criteria behind dividing them, these kingdoms? Why? How does he divide it? You have to note it down like this way, right? So there was certain criteria. On the basis of those criteria, he divided them in the two categories. What was that criteria? Let me. So the criteria to divide kingdom. How does he say? How you will say that this is a plant or animal? Hydra. Hydra look like plant, but it is animal. So how he will divide? So there was a criteria that on the basis of that criteria he divided. The first criteria was that presence of cell wall. Presence of cell. So who have the cell wall? Plant have cell wall, but animal do not have, right? So plant have cell wall. Out of the cell, plant have cell wall, but animal cell do not have cell wall. So if cell wall is present, this is plant, it will come in the plantae. If cell wall is not present, this will come to the animalia, right? Now the second one. Presence of inorganic crystal. Inorganic crystal
They
in
have
cells.
they have two types. Right?
Yes, Martin?
There are two types, right?
Right. There are two types. So plantae and animalia, right? So if inorganic crystal is present in the protoplasm, what will happen? It is a plant, right? And if inorganic crystals is not present, this is the animal, right? Because animal cell never have the animal protoplasm never have the any kind of the crystal like calcium crystal, magnesium crystal, right? These nitrogen crystal, these kind of the crystals are not found in animal protoplasm. So first criteria was presence of cell wall. Second was presence of inorganic crystal in the cell. Third was presence of vacuole. Where the vacuole is found? Presence of vacuole. Vacuoles are found only in animal cell, not in plant cell. I'm sorry. Vacuoles are found only in plant cell, not in animal cell. Big vacuoles are found in plant cell. And animal cell, vacuoles are not found. They are non-functional, very minute or non-functional, right? Fourth one, the fourth one was the nutrition. If they are autotroph, making their own food, they are plant. If they are not making their own food, they are the animals, right? And then presence of organ, heart and all that, excretory organ, respiratory organ, presence of organ. If organs are present, they are the animal. If organs are not present, like, let me write one example, nervous system or neural system. So if it is present, then this is the animal, and if it is not present, this is the animal. So these were the criteria, five main criteria for dividing dividing the organism into two kingdom, plantae and animal. Let me tell you. Let me tell. Is it clear or not? Criteria you have to remember. Clear both, Martin and Shidika?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or one more thing I want to ask you: is that legible? Whatever I am writing over here, is it legible for you?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Martin. Is it easily legible? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So you have to note it down. If you note it down, say yes. Then I will move to the next one.
Done, sir.
Great. Now come to the three kingdom classification system. What is the three? Now third kingdom was added. Right?
Criteria of what, sir?
Sorry, presence of this one.
Yeah.
This is the presence of organ. The last one. Example, neural system. Now the next heading is three kingdom classification system. Right. So the second system was three kingdom classification system. In three kingdom classification system, one more scientist came after the Linnaeus, and he said, no, there are not only two type of the organism, there are three type of the organism. And he was Ernest Haeckel, right? Haeckel. Haeckel was also a very famous scientist in the biology, right? So his name was Ernest Haeckel. H-A-E-L. Right. So Haeckel in 1866. This year is not required, but I'm just writing for sake of your info. Right. He added one more, right? He added one more phylum. So he said, yes, there are living organism, and already the living organism have been divided into two kingdoms, right? So first was kingdom Plantae, and then the second kingdom was kingdom Animalia. These two kingdom have already been added, and he added the third, and he added Protista. He said there is one more kingdom Protista. So what this Protista was a new kingdom which is added. You remember the third kingdom was Protista. So Protista was added by Ernest Haeckel. So Haeckel said, what, who were kept in the Protista? Who were kept? So according to him, he separated. He said that there are two kind of the organism: unicellular and multicellular. Right. So in Protista, he separated unicellular. He separated unicellular organism from animals like amoeba, from animals, right? Algae. He separated from fungi, plantae, and other organisms. So basically, all the unicellular organism kept in the Protista, right? So this was the Protista, was the third thing. Is that clear? Why? Because before the arrival of the microscope, it was not clear that organisms are of two types, unicellular and multi. Still, when the three kingdom classification system came, the microscope, electron microscope or compound powerful microscope were not there, right? And nobody was aware about that there are two kind of the cell, prokaryotic and eukaryotic, right? Previously, the people scientists, you don't used to, they were not aware that there are two kind of cell, prokaryotic, eukaryotic cell. So still the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell concept was, as the technology advanced, as the more powerful microscope came, the classification system become more complex. Is that clear?
Yes.
Please note it down. Then we will come to the four kingdom, and finally, nowadays we are following the five kingdom classification. Six kingdom classification system given, but that is not acceptable.
Do we write this?
Yeah, you need to write it. You have to write it, and please, after the class, you people have to revise it and remember it, right? Because when I will give you the assignment or test, I have to write it down, and then I will evaluate your assignment. I'll tell you that what you need to improve, so that you perform better in your class. And biology, try to understand. Don't cram it. Please never cram it. Always try to understand the biology.
Is that Protista?
Sorry, this is separated unicellular organism from the
No. It's called Pro what?
Protista. 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 Right?
Oh, yes.
Protista. That is the third. So first was Plantae, second was Animalia, and third was Protista. Now the next kingdom which is added on, that was the Monera, right? Done.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
okay. Now after some time, scientists have designed a four kingdom classification system. So four kingdom classification system was given by a scientist. The third classification is four kingdom classification system. There was one more gentleman. His name was Copeland. Copeland in 1956. What happened? A very advanced microscope was discovered, right? At this time, the electron microscope discovered.
Sir,
Yes,
was that his full name?
his name is Copeland. Just everywhere it is written Copeland, right?
Okay.
In all literatures, the Copeland is only. So at this time, electron microscope discovered. Right? So this was the Knoll and Ruska, two scientists who discovered the electron microscope. Electron microscope is still very expensive kind of the microscope. Very few colleges have that electron microscope. Even during my doctorate time, I just taken this electron microscope on rent for. You cannot move it from here and there. Have you seen that electron microscope? Any one of you?
No.
No. Martin, have you seen electron microscope? It's a very
No.
big. You cannot even uh, take this microscope to 1 inch. It's very heavy, maybe of more than 100 kilogram of weight, and 7 or 6 or 7 feet tall microscope, and you won't be able to see that thing directly from your eyes. So whatever you will prepare that slide, that you can see on the computer screen, and there is a screen. And I just seen this microscope at the time of my masters, and then I got chance to take it on the rent for the 2 or 3 hours for during my PhD program, doctorate program. So electron microscope was discovered at that time, 1955, 54 or 555. So when the electron microscope came, then people came to name that there are two kinds of this: prokaryote and eukaryote, right? Uh, Electron microscope were discovered, and scientists came to know scientists came to know that there are two kind of the cell. There are two type of the cell, that is prokaryote, prokaryotic cell, and eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell. Your teacher must have told you, Martin, in this prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. You must have uh, studied this one, right? And we will study it. Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, great. So prokaryote and eukaryote. So when the scientists came to know that there are two kinds of cell, prokaryotic, eukaryotic cell, then this scientist Copeland, he made four kingdom, and he said add on the fourth kingdom, and the fourth kingdom was Monera, right? So again, the living organism were divided into four. So first kingdom was kingdom Plantae. So kingdom Plantae was given by Carl von Linnaeus.
Sir,
Yes.
what are the two cells? Proca
Prokaryotic. Prokaryotic. Let me write it down more clearly. Prokaryotic. Look, pro means old and karyon means nucleus. So the cell which have old nucleus, that is prokaryote, right? Here, break down the term. Eukaryote. It's a Latin. Eu means new and karyote means nucleus. So those cells which have advanced nucleus, they are eukaryote, like we. Those cells which have old nucleus, they are prokaryote, like bacteria. Got it? From the term itself, it's clear. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So the second kingdom that was given by the Plantae was given by Carolus Linnaeus, and again the second kingdom, that is the Animalia. So second was Animalia. So Animalia kingdom was also given by the Carolus Linnaeus. Then it came the third kingdom. So now this is the time when uh, this scientist came. What to say? Name was Haeckel, Ernest Haeckel. So Ernest Haeckel, he said there is a one more kingdom, and that should be Protista. Protista. Again, the fourth kingdom was added by Copeland, and Copeland said that all the prokaryotic organisms should be kept in Monera. Right. So the fourth kingdom was kingdom Monera. Monera. He kept all the prokaryote in Monera. So he kept right. So all the he kept all the prokaryotic cell, prokaryotic. So all those organisms which are made up of prokaryotic cell, he kept all prokaryotic organism in Monera. Right. For example, the organism which were kept over here. For example, bacteria. Example, bacteria. Please note it down. Then we will start with the actual classification system which we are nowadays studying. That is a 5 kingdom classification system of Whitaker.
Sir, the eukaryotic cells were in the Protista kingdom.
Yes, eukaryotic cell in the Protista. Very good. Yes, eukaryotic. So all this, look, let me write it down here. So it will become more clear for you. So in Plantae, there are multicellular. Who were there? Multicellular plant cell. Those organisms which have the plant cell but they are multicellular, they come in the Plantae. Multicellular animal cell. Those organisms which are made up of animal cell but they are multicellular, more than one cell, right? They came in Animalia. Protista, he kept unicellular eukaryotic cell, right? And in Monera, unicellular prokaryotic. So these plant cell are, what are the plant cell? Plant cell is eukaryotic. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Animal cell, eukaryotic, right? Clear?
Yeah.
Right? So there are 4 kingdom classifications. Note down and let me know when you note it down.
The whole thing.
Yeah, everything you have to note it down. Everything, whatever is written on the screen, you have to note it down.
Done.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm
So,
doing, sir. Don't.
yeah, please note down and let me know. Pardon, please let me know when you do done it, right? When it is done.
Sure. Sir.
Five kingdom classification system is important for you. That can be asked during the school examination. That describe the five kingdom classification system and describe the criteria of classification. Both questions can be asked in both.
Yeah, done, sir.
Okay, great. So now come to the five kingdom classification. First, try to understand, then only know, right? Five kingdom classification system, because I want you to understand properly. Because this question, there is a very potential question from this chapter, which generally teacher or school authorities they make when they make the paper, they ask this question in general, right? So it's favorite question of examiners. Five kingdom. Oh, sorry, five classification. Okay. The five kingdom classification system was given by a scientist, and the name of that scientist was R.H. Whitaker. So R.H. Whitaker was a person. He finally designed the five kingdom. How does he design the five kingdom classification? Let me know. Classification.
So who was this found by?
I'll write it down. He was actually Whitaker, R.H. Whitaker, who given the system. I will write it down, the name and the spelling of that name. This is the five kingdom classification system. Look. Now, the five kingdom classification system. This was given by scientists. This is the most modern classification system. And nowadays, we are studying whatever we are studying in our syllabus. You will study it in your 11th class syllabus. This will be this five kingdom classification system. Our book have been designed on the basis of five kingdom classification, right? So, in 1969, the name of the scientist was R.H. Whitaker. R.H. Whitaker. R.H. Whitaker given this classification system in 1969, right? And he said that there are total five kingdoms. So how the kingdom were made, right? That I want to tell you. Look, he said that there are. Please try to understand. I want your 100% focus over here. If you have any doubt, ask me, right? Look, he said that now this is clear. There are two kind of the organism in this world. First organism which are made up of prokaryotes, right? So they are made up of older nucleus, means they are prokaryote, and those organisms which are made up of modern nucleus, new nucleus, they are eukaryote, right? So he said that all prokaryote, and one more important thing which I want to tell you, prokaryote can never be multicellular, can never be multicellular. prokaryote will always be unicellular. They can never be multicellular, right? So he kept all prokaryote, and obviously prokaryotes are unicellular. He kept all prokaryote and unicellular in a group, and name of that group was Monera, right? Wrong. This is name of the group is Monera, right? So Monera is, he kept all them in a kingdom, and the name of that kingdom was Monera. So first kingdom. Now the five kingdom classification system, we study the first kingdom, that is the Monera. So Monera is the first kingdom, right? Then again, what he did, he he said that all the eukaryotic organisms. Now there are two options. Eukaryotic can be unicellular and multicellular both, right? So he said all unicellular eukaryotic organism should be kept in a next kingdom, and that kingdom should be what? That kingdom should be Protista. So he said he kept all these organisms into Protista, right? Let me write it down the name. So here example is bacteria. So bacteria come under the Monera. Now the unicellular eukaryotic cell example is amoeba. You must have studied about the amoeba, right? Amoeba. Now he said
Yes.
eukaryote can be unicellular or multicellular, right? Now the multicellular eukaryote are further divided in two parts. Those with cell wall. I told you the plant are only organism which have cell wall, and animal do not have cell wall. With cell wall and without cell wall. Without cell wall, he made next example, that is animalia. Animalia, you can take human and all that. We are animal. We are social animal, right? Then the don't say non-biological student that you are animal. They will start fighting with you, right? They'll get hurted. Yes. So don't tell them that they are animal. People don't realize they don't internalize this thing that we are animal. They don't accept this thing. But this is true. When we were in very smaller classes, right? So we used to taught that humans are the social animal. So we are the social animal. We are the animal, right? Most advanced animal of the earth. So the multicellular organism without cell wall and with cell wall. With cell wall, there are two kind of problems. What? Do not perform photosynthesis means they cannot make their food. Fungi. So fungi, who add the fungi? Fungi is a new kingdom that is added by the Whiting, RH Whiting, right? And those who are able to perform photosynthesis, they are the fifth one, that is the planting, right? So fungi was made by the fungi is an extra that was the added by. So first kingdom was Monera. Second kingdom was Protista. Third kingdom is fungi. Fourth kingdom is plantae. And the last kingdom is animalia. This is the five kingdom classification. Tell me, is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So please note it down. This you have to write it down. You have to make this flow chart. These are called a schematic diagram. You have to make this flow chart.
Done, sir.
Okay. Okay. So finally, done, Martin?
No, I'm doing, sir.
Okay. Yeah, please do. Now, so if they ask you what is the five kingdom classification system, first you have to write out, you have to write it down. The five kingdom classification system was given by RH Whitaker, and then you have to make this diagram. Then you will write it down the criteria, which I will write it down right.
Yeah, done, sir.
Okay, fine. Before, no, first let me write it down. Then I'll ask a question. Okay. So now what is the criteria behind classification? What was the criteria? So criteria. So what was the criteria which was taken by the R.H. Whitaker, right? So there are 5 different criteria. 5 different criteria were taken by Whitaker. Whitaker. So what are those 5 criteria? First criteria was that complexity of cell structure. Complexity of cell structure. So what is the complexity of cell structure? That prokaryote and eukaryote, that is prokaryote, and eukaryote. So prokaryotes, they came the first. Why? The prokaryotes are the simpler one. They have the simple nucleus, and eukaryote have the complex nucleus. So first criteria was complexity of the cell structure. Right. What is the second criteria? Second criteria was complexity of body structure. Body structure. What is that? That is unicellular and multicellular. Why? Unicellular are less complex, multicellular are very complex. That is the criteria. Then third criteria. The third criteria is mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition. How the mode of nutrition? That some of them are, that is, some of them are photosynthetic, like plant. They can make their food by the process of photosynthesis, right? Then second one, absorptive. What about the absorptive mode of nutrition? Absorptive nutrition is found in where? In fungi. And then there is a ingestive nutrition and ingestive. What is ingestive nutrition? In ingestive nutrition, we ingest food, we eat food. Any kind of the organism, if taking food as a whole or it is taking in bite, that is called ingestive mode of nutrition. Right? So third is a mode of nutrition. What was the fourth criteria?
Sir, can you explain the nutrition modes
Yeah,
again?
definitely. Nutrition is the method of taking food, right? So plants are autotroph. Auto means self-making. Plant, they make their food their own, right? What we do, we eat food, means we ingest food. We eat food in as a whole. If you're eating grape, you will take it as a whole. But if you are eating bread, you will break it into pieces. So those animal which take the those organisms which take food in the bite or as a whole, they are called ingestive mode of nutrition, right? Then third, those which absorb nutrition from their body, like fungi, right? So photosynthetic plant, they make their own food. Absorptive fungi, they absorb food from outer environment, from dead and decaying material. Ingestive, like human, mammals, all the mammals. Got it? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, what is the fourth criteria? The fourth criteria is ecological lifestyle. Sorry. ecological lifestyle. What does mean by the ecological lifestyle? Ecological lifestyle is the way that's how they live like they are consumer, that is consumer. We are consumer. We do not make food. We take food from other, or they are producer like plant, or producer like plant. They produces food, or they are decomposer. They break food into simple. They break complex food into simple one. That is ecological lifestyle, right? Last but not the least, phylogenetic relationship. Now, this is the term. What does mean phylogenetic? Can anybody tell me? What is phylogenetic relationship? That is evolution. Evolutionary relationship. Why evolutionary relationship? First, who came? First, bacteria came. So first kingdom is Protista. Then who came? Then amoeba, paramecium, all that they came. Then this is the second kingdom is Protista. Then who came? Then Plantae, then fungi came, then Plantae came, then Animalia came. So this is evolutionary. This is also a criteria. Like who came when. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me know when you note it down, right?
Done, sir.
Done. Great. Sizo, please let me know. Okay.
Yeah, done, sir.
Done. Okay, great. Now, so tell me first before going ahead, is it clear everything? Is that everything clear what we did it till now? Crystal
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Okay, great. Now we will cover one by one kingdom, right? Every kingdom have been covered in your textbook. So we will cover one by one all the kingdoms, right? So first we will start from the first classification is from Monera. So we will start from the Monera action, right?
Sir,
Yes.
with each kingdom you gave a date. Is that the date that it was found? The system?
Sorry, with each kingdom,
You gave a date, a
uh,
year.
year. No, 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 no. Year is not at all. It's not important. Never.
Okay.
Even it's not important for competition as well, right? I just given for your sake of your reference, right? So that I tell you for reference that you will come to know microscope when the microscope was discovered, when it was not discovered, right? So we just
Okay.
make a sequence in our brain. Now, the first kingdom which we will study, that kingdom is kingdom Monera. That is kingdom of bacteria. So basically, this is kingdom of bacteria, right? So bacteria are found everywhere. They are they are next to the God. They are present everywhere where the life is possible. Any place where the life, even those places where life is not practically possible, they are found everywhere. So they are next to the God. Bacteria are next to the God, right? And they can survive in any condition, right? So what about the bacteria? Let me tell you something about the bacteria first. So what is the prokaryotic cell? Let me show you some diagram first. So this one. Right. This is the prokaryotic cell. Right? Let me make it smaller. This is basically bacterial cell. So I will give you a glimpse of brief of that cell. Then this is a prokaryotic organism. So what is the name of this bacteria? Is basically the bacteria which we study, right? Which is our experimental. When we study the mammal, what we do, we dissect the frog, right? Because frog, all the system of frog matches with the human. Then further classes we dissect the mouse or rabbit, right? Most of the system of the rabbit matches with the human because we both are the mammals, right? So here the kingdom Monera, bacteria is a representative organism. Whenever we have to study the bacteria, are experimental organism, right? So experimental organism means ideal bacteria, which we always use, all the scientific organism. That is the E. coli. The name of bacteria is E. coli. We always study the E. coli. This is the standard bacteria you will find in the biology. Everywhere examples are given on the E. coli. You must have listened that, right? But the complete name, by the way, this is not record. That is the Escherichia. This is the Escherichia coli. That is the complete name of this bacteria, E. coli, right? But normally, everywhere you will get that this is the E. coli. Escherichia coli is called E. coli, and you have to remember the E. coli bacteria. This diagram belongs to the E. coli bacteria. Try to understand. The outermost layer of bacteria is called capsule. Capsule protect bacteria from high temperature, scarcity of water, and all. The next layer, so first layer is capsule. Next layer, that is a cell wall. Then third layer is a plasma membrane. That is third layer. Then inside the plasma membrane, there is a substance that is called cytoplasm or protoplasm. Right? Protoplasm is a gel-like substance. Inside this gel-like substance, there are some small particles. These are called ribosome. What is the function of ribosome? Their function is protein synthesis. They make the protein, right? Then there is the most important thing is that this is the nucleoid. We cannot use the nucleus term for it. Why? Because there is no nuclear membrane. So DNA is not surrounded with the, here you can see, the DNA is not surrounded with the nuclear wall. So it is called nucleoid. So the term which is used for the nucleus of bacteria, we call it nucleoid. Then there is a flagellum. Flagella help bacteria in swimming, right? Movement. This is the pili. Pili help bacteria in holding anywhere, like holding on our surface on a skin and all that, right? There is a one more thing that is called plasmid. These are the peculiar structure which are not found in other organisms, right? Plasmid. So what is the plasmid? Let me write down. Plasmid is the small circular DNA. This is not main DNA. A small circular DNA. That is extra DNA. We will, when I will teach you the prokaryotic, eukaryotic cell in the cell biology, I will teach you this thing again in detail. Right here, I just want to tell you those things which are very important, just very important for you. What is the nucleoid? Nucleoid is DNA. This is nucleus of bacteria, but let me tell you, nucleus of this is nucleus of bacteria. But let me tell you, you can never use the nucleus term for it, right? Okay. So what is the peculiarity? So this is a prokaryotic cell, right? Prokaryotic cell. What does it mean? Pro means old and karyotic means nucleus. Those which bear older nucleus, they are called prokaryotic cells, right? Here, DNA is genetic material. Why? Because it brings information from one generation to another, right? So DNA is not surrounded by nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane. While in eukaryote, the DNA remains surrounded with the nuclear membrane and it swims in a special kind of the fluid that is called that is called nucleoplasm, right? But that kind of the structure is not formed and it is always unicellular. Always prokaryote can never be multicellular. Always unicellular, right? So whom we kept them in Monera, right? So feature, is it clear? Is that clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. Now the feature characteristic. For biology student, the diagram should be very good, right? And always make the diagram, but not right now, because if you will make the diagram during the class, it will take too much time. So what you have to do, whatever I dictate, write it down that thing, right? After the class, definitely you will get the link of this one, right? Then after the class, you can draw those diagram, right? Or even you can draw the diagram if you get this kind of the diagram in your notebook, then you can, sorry, textbook, then you can note it down in the from your textbook as well, right? So what is the they are always unicellular, right? And always so what about the Monera? Always unicellular, right? DNA is not surrounded by the nuclear membrane, right? And ribosomes, ribosome size is there is smaller ribosome. Ribosome size is 70 S type. S stand for Swedberg, right? This unit is Swedberg. S means Swedberg, right? So ribosomes are 70 S, right? And how does they multiply? Multiplication. Multiplication means they become 1 to 2. Multiplication by binary fission. Binary or I think binary or multiplication. Binary fission. So, you know what is the binary fission? Binary fission. Any idea?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Great. So multiplication is done by the binary fission. Now, what about the nutrition? That is very important. Right? So nutrition may be of different type, right? Can be first photoautotrophic. Photoautotrophic, right? Photo means, what is the photoautotrophic? Make food from, like plant, make food from sunlight, right? They are called, they can make their own food with the help of sunlight, right? So that is called photoautotrophic. So nutrition can be photoautotrophic. Then bacteria can be phototropic. Then nutrition can be saprophytic or saprotrophic. What is saprotrophic nutrition? In saprotrophic nutrition, they make food from dead and, like fungi, dead and decaying organism. You must have seen if any organism got dead or any plant is dead, right? Then after some time, smell start coming from it because bacteria is decomposing it. Bacteria is eating it. So that nutrition is called saprophyte, right? Saprophytic nutrition. Okay. Then that can be parasitic nutrition. So these Monera can be parasite. What are the parasite? Those bacteria, they goes inside our body, they infect us, take nutrition from us and make us sick, right? So parasitic, they take nutrition, take food from, like mosquito, they are parasite. In the same way, bacteria are also parasite. They take food from other living. So that nutrition is called parasitic mode of nutrition, right? Then chemoautotrophy. Chemoautotrophic. What is chemoautotrophic? This is made, they make nutrition from chemicals like sulfur bacteria, chemical only. Neither any for living nor any for dead. So these kind of the nutrition, these all four kind of the nutrition can be there in any Monera. Is it clear? And remember
Yes,
all
sir.
those. Right?
Yeah, sir.
Last but not the least, they are found everywhere. I told you already, they are next to the God. They are found everywhere. So if any organism is found everywhere, we use a particular term in biology. God is found everywhere. You said that God is omnipresent. It is found everywhere. But omnipresent is an English term which is exclusively used for God. You cannot use for any other organism and all that. So what there is a limitation with this bad. So in biology, we have discovered a different word. It means ubiquitous. We call it, that is ubiquitous. UUITOUS, ubiquitous. Means they are ubiquitous. They are found everywhere. Note it down, then let me know.
Sir, what did you write after the third point? The ribosome size is
Ribosome size
700.
is 70S. Actually, because S is very
Oh,
different type of the unit, right? We call it Swedberg. Actually, there was a scientist who discovered the size of these ribosome and all that, right? So his name was Swedberg. After his on his respect, we given the unit Swedberg, right? S means Swedberg.
okay. Done, sir.
Done. So before winding up the class, I want to know. So are you facing any difficulty while joining in class? Is there any problem, any difficulty?
No.
Martin, what about you?
Yes, sir.
Is there any difficulty during the this session?
No. Yes,
So the pace is okay. The pace which we are following.
Yeah.
Comfortable with
Yes,
pattern.
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we will do. My motto is why I jot down this point. My motto is that whenever you write an answer, you must have some content. Until unless you don't have the content, you won't be able to write down it. And you have to write down the answer like this way. That's how I am teaching, right? This is the way to write the answer. You have to just convert them into words, right? If you write down this way only, you will get the 100 out of it, right? So in next class, I will start from the look. One thing is left, that is the classification of Monera, right? So first we will do the classification of the Monera, then we will do the Protista, then Panjai, then Plante, then Animalia, right? That's how we will proceed, right? And after the class, go through with this PPT, go through with your NCRT, and if you have any question, just note it down, ask me next class, right? Okay.
Sir, what
Yes, sir.
about the Sixth Kingdom classification?
I'll tell you Six Kingdom classification. That is actually